Mind, body, and soul, right? Mind, body, and soul. Not necessarily in that order. Body is, oh man, wore me out today. Now, time for the mind. A little bit of mind. I don't know. Hope you don't wear out your mind. Chapter 7, creative capacity. This is chapter 7 of No Limits by John Maxwell. Creative capacity, your ability to see options and find answers. Have you ever told yourself, I put this in the title, you ever told yourself, I'm just not creative? I maybe it's drawing, that was always the excuse in school, right? You got to draw something. I'm just not creative. I don't know how to draw. Sorry, I got to get this in. Um, you can train yourself to be creative. You can train yourself to do anything, right? But John Maxwell said he was surprised to learn he was in some class and they did a test their creativity and he scored in the bottom. Um, and um, Anybody can do that. You may not be the most creative person in the world, but you can improve your creativity, right? Developing your creative capacity can greatly improve your life. People that are they have creative confidence, right? People who have creative confidence make better choices. They set off more easily in new directions. Right? A little curiosity there. Better able to find solutions to problems and continually see new possibilities and effectively collaborate with others to improve the situations around them. Right. So there are some keys. John Maxwell got his lists. Number one, believe that there is always an answer, no matter what the problem, right? He said that, think about this, the words reactive and creative, all the letters are the same. The only difference is where you put the C, in the middle of the word or at the beginning of the word, right? And John Maxwell says, change your C, right? See the challenges. That's how he sees the challenges. He said, I determined to believe there's always an answer, no matter what the question or the situation, right? It means practicing possibilities, right? You think about it. Well, okay, what are our possible solutions? Brainstorming, right? Um, change the question from "Is there an answer?" to "What is the answer?" Change the question from, or change the statement from "It can't be done" to the question, "How can it be done?" Right? So believe that there's always an answer. Um, creativity creativity, according to John Maxwell, is a mindset, right? You have to believe that answers and solutions are out there, and they're, believe that they're out there if you're willing to find them, right? Number two, believe that there is more than one answer, right? Believe that there's more than one answer. Yesterday we were talking about collaborate, about the collaboration and about how you can put your idea out there and allow others to expand on it, right? Get other people to help expand on your answer, and to remember that the first idea is can almost always be improved, right? The first idea is always can almost always be improved. So believe there's always an answer, and believe that there's more than one, right? um, think broadly, search for as many different possible answers as you can find, and then once you have a long list of options, line them up and say, okay, which one's the best, right? If you're a leader, he says you may want to adopt the practice that he used with his staff. Whenever people on his team come to him with a problem, right? When somebody comes to you with a problem, ask them, give me three solutions. Give me, come up with three possible solutions for the problem. You never teach people. If all you do is solve people's problems instead of teaching them how to solve their problems, they'll never get any better. They just come to you and you got the answer, and then they don't have to think about it, right? um, I always try to walk people through it. Okay, what are our possible solutions, right? Let's sit down and think. John Maxwell just said, hey, come to me with a problem, bring me three possible solutions to. um, Number one, believe there's always an answer. Number two, believe there's more than one answer. Number three, believe that everything and everyone can get better, right? Don't cap your expectations. The more you expect from people, the more you'll get. Right? You get what you allow. Right? You get what you allow. Um, so believe that everyone and everything can get better, and that gives you confidence that you can help people and that you can make a difference, and inspires you to keep looking for ways to solve problems and pursue opportunities. Right? So believe there's always an answer. Believe there's more than one answer. Believe that everything and everyone can get better. Number 4, understand that questions help you get more creative. Right? Think about that. The phrase, what if? What if? What if we did this? Right? What if? That's the start of a question that will lead to sometimes breathtakingly creative answers, he says. Um, he has another book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And he talks about some of the questions that he asks himself, right? And those are, so how can we make things better, right? Number 1, how can we make things better? What can we do to help you, right? Number 2, or letter B, let's do that because this is number 4, right? So A, how can we make things better? Letter B, what can I do to become better, right? If I want to keep improving and expanding my influence, I have to keep improving myself too. So you always have to ask what can I do to be better? Are the right, letter C, are the right people at the table? Remember, the people around you create all the difference, right? Letter D, how can I connect things with creativity, right? You think about knowledge, you have all of these knowledge points, right? You have all of these knowledge points out there. You know a little about this, and you know a little about this, right? When you connect those two things together, that's the experience, right? So you have all these points, and then you have the experience that goes along with it. It is connections, right? The connections between knowledge and experience, that's your creativity, right? Steve Jobs said creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it, right? They just saw something and it seemed obvious after a while, right? So think about, how can you connect things? How do things connect that can help you with your creativity? Okay, there's always an answer. There's always more than one. People can always get better, right? Everyone can get better. Questions help you be more creative. Number 5, I'm comfortable with half-baked ideas, right? Half-baked ideas. And he said when he was young, he held on to ideas way too long before he shared them with others. And the reason for that was he thought, well, that's silly. It's not complete. I don't he wanted his ideas to be presentable. He didn't want them to be rejected. He wanted them to be perfect, right? Remember, ready, aim, 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 and you'll never get there. You'll never pull the trigger, right? Pull the trigger, right? Build your wings, jump and build your wings on the way down. So it's one of the other things he says. Looking good was more important to him back then than getting good, right? So you got an idea, share it. Hey, I've got this, idea. How can we expand on it, right? Remember the people around you, right? People around you. The sooner I can get other perspectives on my thinking, the closer I come to finding an answer. Don't be afraid, to share with people you trust, right? He has a 3E form, what he calls a 3E formula for creativity: exposure of the idea to the right people, expression plus exposure plus the expression from their different perspectives equals the expansion of his idea beyond his own personal ability, right? When we share with others, we increase our odds of being successful. We gain more practice with creative ideas. We become more comfortable with, okay, that didn't work, right? We become more comfortable with our misses, right? And he says the biggest single, so this is somebody else, David Hills, said the biggest single variable of whether or not employees will be creative is whether they receive permission to do so, whether they perceive they have the permission to be creative, right? Um, number six, he's comfortable letting go of what he embraced yesterday. It's not a new decision. It is a new decision. It's not changing your mind. I went this way and now I'm going this way. Did I change my mind? No, I made a new decision based on new information that was available to me, right? Information that I didn't have, right? Um, think about that. It's easier to let go of something if you're going to get something better, right? It's easy to let go. If you know that letting go with this idea is going to lead you to a better idea, it's easier to let go. People usually cut their losses too late, right? You may have heard the expression before, throw good money after bad. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, wait a second. One of the things that I tried to make sure happened in my year as president of the association is make a decision, right? Sometimes we come, especially when there's a group, you come in and we just beat an idea to death. Let's make a decision, right? If it's not the right decision, we'll regroup and we'll go a different direction, right? But let's start. Let's do something, right? And I don't mean go off without thinking about stuff, but you don't have to beat it to death. Excellence is possible only with creative dissatisfaction. People only change when they get uncomfortable, right? When you sit in the position that you're sitting in until you get uncomfortable, and then you shift positions. Life is like that too. We only change when we get uncomfortable enough to it's when we get so uncomfortable we can't stay where we are anymore. And then you can't fall in love with structure, right? I'm kind of a structure person, but with you got to be willing to look outside the box. Number 7, he asks creative people to help him, right? He knows he keeps those kinds of people around, right? And then number 8, gives himself creative retreats. He gives himself. You got to take time. Sometimes you don't look at my office, right? You got to get out of you got to get out and away from what you do on a daily basis. If this is where you work all the time, maybe you need to move yourself to some place where you can let the creative juices flow, right? All right, his creative capacity questions. When it comes to problems, number 1, when it comes to problems, challenges, and obstacles, do you believe that there's always a solution? Right? Do you believe that there's always a solution? And then he says, explain your answer. Number 2, do you find it difficult or easy to let go of old successes and solutions? Right? Just because it worked well before, maybe it could work better if we did it this way. Right? How could you leverage a stronger faith in the future in order to let go of the past? And number 3, are you better at pulling together a group of creative people to get ideas, or going into a retreat in solitude to think? And what could you do to improve in the area where you don't currently do as well, right? Creativity, I almost want to say creativity is a muscle, right? A muscle that you have to work out in order to get better. So remember, I think the big thing to remember is there's always an answer. There's always more than one answer. And 2 heads are better than one, right? The minds of other people. You can be the idea maker, right? The seed maker, and let people build on that. Let that idea grow and be nurtured by the inclusion of other people. So how creative are you? Love to hear your thoughts, your comments, your insight into this. It's part of a book club is getting other people's perspective. And so you would doing other, because this is just my perspective, right? You would be doing all of us a great service if you would leave a comment and give us your thoughts, um, your ideas, right? Would love to hear it. So, okay, happy Thursday. Have a great weekend. If you're working, work hard. If you're playing, play hard. Whatever you do, stay out of trouble. Remember that uh, mind, body, soul. Keep building yourself. If you know somebody that could benefit from this, share it. Leave us a comment. Leave us a thumbs up. Something, a like. Let me know. Let me know that someone's out there. I know you're out there. And anyway, whatever you do, get out there, make today the best day of your life so far. See you on Monday.